know about what are the changes, okay, was happened after the revolt of 1857. Okay, so this chapter mainly focus the changes or the developments which took place after the revolt of 1857. Okay, so do you remember all the
Good
points regarding
morning,
this
ma'am.
1857 revolt?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So children, India was a colony under the Britishers.
Ma'am,
Okay.
I don't know because of network issue.
Okay, you need to inform that one. If I ask you that time only I needed to know about your network issues. Okay.
Okay.
See children, so the revolt of 1857. Okay, the British people, the Britishers, they made India as their colony, and we have seen in detail that Indians do not have any freedom. Okay, they were collecting huge taxes from the people. And also, what about the condition of the sepoys?
Sepoys, the low wages and poor condition of
Their
work.
salary was very low. Their
Salary
working
was-
condition
and
was
the
very
condition
poor.
was very
Okay,
poor.
so and also they were compelled to do many things which was against their religious beliefs and sentiments, isn't it? Yes, okay. And also they promoted English language education. They removed Sanskrit and Arabic from the schools and colleges. So this all created a sense of humiliation, okay, among the minds of Indians, isn't it?
Yes.
Is the Indians were happy under the Britishers? Is the Indians were
No.
happy?
Never.
No, okay, because you know the Indians were oppressed and harassed by the British people. Okay, so that the Indians they revolted against the Britishers. First time they reacted or they demanded freedom from the Britishers, but 1857 revolt, it was crushed by the Britishers. Okay, in India, Indians were defeated in the battle and the Britishers, they gained more power. And who became the new ruler after the 1857 revolt?
The British government and the British
The
government
and the
direct
Queen of
control.
England.
Okay, the British government directly controlled the Indian government. Okay, Indian people. Okay, because the Indians they do not have any right to interfere in any of the matters of India. Instead, who is controlling Indian political matters? British people. Okay, so the British were the people who is controlling the Indian people. So when it comes to 1857, this was the real situation in India. Okay, so in this chapter, the freedom struggle, we were going to discuss the things which was happened after the 1857 revolt. Okay, so from that, when we discussed about the consequences, we have seen that they made more taxes. That means they collected more taxes. Why they collected more taxes from Indians?
to make them powerless and poor.
Make them
Yes,
powerless.
Siddhi,
So
they wanted to
so
make Indians more poor. Okay,
and
so that
powerless.
if they become poor and poor, they will not fight against the Britishers. Okay, and they would not have enough money to buy the weapons or to fight against the Britishers. So they will remain poor and they won't protest against the Britishers. So that was the main intention of the Britishers. And also, children, the Britishers they wanted to be more wealthy. Okay, many of these British people, when they came to here in India for business, they came for business, and when they returned back from India, they had huge wealth with them. Okay, they become very rich after when they return from India. This chapter, we are going to discuss the changes in the society after 1857. Okay, so after 1857, we have seen that till that time, Indians were not united. Okay, till that time, Indians were not united. They were fighting against each other. These Indian rulers, okay, Indian rulers, the local kings and queens, they were fighting with each other. But after 1857 revolt, they have seen that, okay, they feel that if they united, they could do something against the Britishers. Okay, so the fire was set, okay, with the Indians after the revolt of 1857, and also the Indians become more patriotic. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes. The Indians become more patriotic. That means that they are love towards their nation. That means India, our country. Okay, yeah. And they have seen that many of the leaders, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Nana Sahib, Tandiya Top, many of these leaders, they sacrificed their life. Yes. They were being killed by the Britishers, isn't it? Only for the cause of our nation. Okay, these people, they were killed by the Britishers, so they were inspired. Okay, the Indians, they inspired by the lives of the freedom fighters. Okay, Rani Lakshmi Bai, Nana Sahib, Bahadur Shah Safar. Okay, so many leaders were there. They all were being killed by the yes, built by the British.
Bahadur was exiled, right?
Sorry?
Ma'am, Bahadur Zafar was exiled to Rangoon, right?
Yes, he was exiled to Rangoon and he was died in the jail. Okay, he died in the prison there. So his family, his wife also was with him, and his two sons were killed by the Britishers. Okay, so that was the end of the Mughal rule in India. So this all things inspired the Indians. They all wanted to fight against the Britishers. They all wanted to get freedom from the Britishers. Okay, but what about the condition of the British? They do not give any chance for the Indians to rise against the Britishers. They become more strict and strict. And also they imposed more taxes from the people. Okay, so against this all policies, which was developed by the Britishers, the Indians, okay, how do the Indians react? See, I have told you, Indian society, it was full of superstitious. What is superstitious means? Superstitious. Andavishwasam, have you heard about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Blindly, the people are blindly believing in some of the customs and practices. Okay, so have you heard about sati?
No.
Sati?
No, ma'am.
You know, children, it was an evil practice which was existed in the Hindu religious people. Okay, you know, during that time, when a husband died, okay, when a husband died, the wife, okay, the wife has to commit suicide on his funeral fire. She needed to jump into the funeral fire and she needed to commit suicide. Have you heard about that?
No, ma'am.
And it was
Ma'am, I haven't heard about that.
Can you say again?
It was stopped by Rajaram.
Ma'am, can you say what
yes.
is sati again?
Okay.
Can you say again?
That means when a husband died, wife has to commit suicide. She needed to jump on the funeral fire of her husband. Okay, what is funeral fire?
Funeral fire, ma'am. I know what is funeral fire.
Yeah, after that, you know, after death, the body, yes.
Yeah, the body will be turned to ash,
Yes.
and then
Okay, so in that fire, the wife, she needed to jump into that funeral fire and she needed to commit suicide. So that system was existed in Hindu religious people. Okay, so our society, it was fully superstitious, and the woman's condition was very poor. They were not allowed to attend the schools. Okay, they have to sit with their siblings and they needed to do household works only. Women were not allowed to learn and write. Okay, they were not allowed to learn and write. And many beliefs, such beliefs were there. Okay, so the society was full of superstitions and customs and practices. Okay, and widows. Who are widows? Widows, a woman without husband. Okay, that means if a husband died, she'll be known as widow, right? Yeah, and widows remarriage. So there would not be anyone to take care the widow, right? So, but a widow, she is not allowed to remarry. Okay, and also she needed to shave her head, and she needed to wear white sari and how to sit in home. She is not supposed to go out. Okay, so that was the customs and customs which was existed during that time. So many many leaders thought that the society would be reformed. Okay, what is reform? Reform. What do you mean by reform? Restructure. Means make change. Okay, reform means make changes. Okay, so we have many leaders who wanted to reform our society. Okay, so which all leaders were there? How do they wanted to change the structure of Indian society? And by making change among the Indian society, how do they make people to do something, fight against the Britishers? Okay, so this all we were going to discuss in this chapter. Okay, are you ready, children?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so children, the lesson, okay, the freedom struggle. The freedom struggle. That means in this chapter, we are going to discuss the changes in Indian society after 1857. After 1857, what all changes was happened in Indian society? Okay, that means there was reformation was there. Then many leaders, okay, they struggled to change the Indian people. The Indians were united against the Britishers. Okay, so this all we will discuss in this chapter. And the rise of Indian National Congress, the first political party of India. Still now it is exist. Okay, so the Indian National Congress and their demands, the new political parties we are going to discuss. The partition of Bengal. Bengal was the largest province of India during that time. It was partition. Partition means divided into two parts. This all we will discuss later in detail, and its effect. How caste system. I have told you many caste. That means people were discriminated, or they were divided into many sections, many customs and practices was there. Okay, so its effects, this all we will discuss in this chapter. Okay, so now we will move on to the first topic, reformation. I have told you, reform. That means restructure or reform. The society was blindly, okay, the people, the Indians were blindly believing in some of the social customs and practices which was not at all good for the society. Okay, the woman's condition was very poor. They were not allowed to visit the school, attend the schools. They were not allowed to learn, even learn to read and write. Okay, then also sati was existed, and so there were many problems. Okay, was there. So many leaders, they wanted to reform the Indian society. What is reformation means? Wanted to,
Changes.
To make change.
yes.
To make
To
changes.
make changes.
Okay.
Restructure.
Reformation is a type of movement by people. Many of our leaders, okay, many of our leaders, they wanted to improve the society. That means they wanted to change society, because Indian people during that time, they were not literate at all. What do you mean by literate? They were not educated. Okay, they were not educated, and they were fighting or quarreling with each other, and there was no unity, and their condition, financial condition was very poor, because the Britishers, They were extracting them. That means they were extracting huge taxes or revenues from the people. Okay, so this whole there was many problems like this. So reformation, what is reformation? Restructure. Many leaders, they wanted to reform the society. They wanted to restructure the Indian society because it was not a good system. The people, they were believing, blindly believing. Okay, they were blindly believing. They were superstitious people. They were believing in some of the customs and practices, purely religious. Okay, purely religious beliefs were there. So they wanted to reform the society. So the action or process of reforming a practice, changing. Okay, they all wanted to change the existing systems and customs. Children, is the textbook is with you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Ma'am. Yes,
And
ma'am.
now underline the yellow box in the textbook, page number 41. Reformation is a type of movement by the people who wanted to improve the society. What do you mean by improve? Make changes. Yes.
Ma'am, can you repeat the page number?
Page number 41.
Okay, ma'am.
Sarah, it is in first term book.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, 41, right? 41 yellow box.
Sorry.
Underline the yellow box in 41.
Yes, the content it is there in a yellow box. Reformation is a type
Ma'am,
of
page
movement,
number?
41.
41.
By people who
I'm
wanted to improve the society.
Your sound is echo.
Ah. So many of our leaders, we will discuss in detail about the leaders. They wanted to improve. Okay, they wanted to restructure, reform the society. Okay, that is called reformation. Okay, what is reformation? It is a type of movement. Many people, many leaders are struggling hard to make changes in the society. Okay, so reformation is a type of movement by people who wanted to improve society, who wanted to change the existing customs and practices. Okay, they wanted to change the existing customs and practices. Okay, and so the social reformers, those who wanted to change the society, they try to improve the society by challenging the existing customs and beliefs. What is existing customs and beliefs? Sati, widow remarriage was not allowed. Women were not allowed to educate.
Study.
So many of, and also children, I have told you about 1857 revolt. Do you know about it? So that time there was a belief that, okay, there was a belief that if they cross the sea, they would lose their religion. The sepoys or the soldiers, they believed that if they cross the sea, they would lose their religion. Okay.
Religion.
So many of the soldiers refused to cross the seas during any battles or wars with the Britishers. Okay, so many such beliefs were there that time. So first of all, in order to fight against the Britishers, first of all, what we wanted to do, they wanted to, the people, the leaders, they wanted to restructure the society. They wanted to reform the Indians. Okay, so that the social reformers, they tried to improve or they tried to challenge the social customs and practices. It was not an easy task. Okay, because the Indians, especially Hindus, okay, we should have to note about it. Especially the Hindus, they blindly believed in some of the customs and practices like this. Okay, so it was not an easy task to reform the people, religious people. Okay, so the reformers, they tried to change the society, and Rajaram Mohan Roy. Please note it down, children. He's an important person who struggled to reform the Indian society during that time. Yes, he wanted Indians to give up their bad habits and customs. Many bad habits and customs was existed in Indian society. So he wanted the Indians to give up, okay, to give up all these existing customs and practices. And also he wanted everyone, including women, to be educated. Underline the sentence in the textbook, children. Page number 41, Reformation of Society. Rajaram Mohan Roy felt that they should prove that they deserve it. He wanted Indians to give up their bad habits and customs. He wanted everyone, including women, to be educated. He struggled to make the woman to be educated. Yes, please asking me something.
And should we only write the name of the person?
No, underline that sentence also. He wanted to give up their bad habits and customs. He wanted everyone, including women, to be educated. Okay. So children,
Educated.
it's the time to wind up our session. Next class, we will continue